All right, we are going live from the Felton, Delaware, in the home of the Josh Withrow. Yeah. Give a few minutes to see if anybody shows up, and if not, I'm just going to turn it off. So I might just leave that whole, pack that just like that. And then I need some baggies for screws and stuff. I don't need to take any of those because there's nothing I can really use in there, which is fine. Let's charge my camera battery. So anyway, just in case you guys are popping in here, in case anybody's popping in here, I've been at work all day, and you may or may not know that I travel for work. And so I woke up early, I went to work all day. I got off work, I went to the airport where I was. I wasn't too far from home. I was in Pittsburgh, and I lived just south of Dover, Delaware. What's up, Quad Man? And so worked all day, drove to the airport, about an hour and 15-minute drive, took an hour flight to Baltimore, and then another hour and a half drive home. And I got here and just started packing for my trip. Because what are we doing? That's right, Noob Crew for Life, brothers. We are going to have a meetup in Fort Worth with the FPV Noob Tube guys. Some of the core people who really drive the group. Hooty hoo, dilly dilly. We are all meeting in the Fort Worth area because you guys that aren't aware, Fort Worth, I mean, there's some other cities too, but Fort Worth has a really, really big FPV scene, especially for multi-GP. And so we're going to go down there. We're going to hang with the Dallas-Fort Worth multi-GP group. Last year was headed up by Ben Cole or Leprechaun there. Now I think Noel or Hendershot or somebody else is heading it up, which is cool. That's cool because now it means you can just enjoy the races and not, be all administrative and stuff. But yeah, we're going to go down there. We're going to race with those guys for a whole day. We're going to have a whole day of freestyle and some bandos. We're going to have a whole day of just park. We're going to have a whole day of, brotherhood and fixing stuff. And then, you speckle in between with hanging out and eating and just being in the presence of greatness, right? And what do I mean by greatness? I don't mean popularity or anything like that. I mean of great people, Yeah, okay, it is Noel Davis. But really looking forward to just doing that. Looking forward to meeting some of the guys I haven't gotten to meet yet and seeing the guys I have met before again and just eating it up, right? Eating it up. Spreading the good word and enjoying it together. Yeah, it's going to be a mess. But look, guys, don't be like super nervous. I know you're going to be a little nervous about it. Even I'm a little nervous and I've done it before. But I mean, it's not that much different than when you're flying around trees and slides in the park. In fact, in some ways, it's a little easier than that. You're going to find that initially, like hitting those gates, you're going to be like, oh my God, they're so small. Well, first you'll walk up to one, right? And you're going to be like, oh, no problem. I can hit that. And then when you're flying, you're going to be like, why are they so small? And then you're going to get used to it. And then you're going to be like, oh, I don't know. I can't remember how the course goes. But after going around it 2 or 3 times in some practice runs, you'll remember how it goes. And you have a spotter to let you know if you missed a gate, turn around and go hit it. And it's a lot of fun. Like when I did it the first time, I didn't do it to compete. I did it just to participate. And, to do something new and then to try to best myself every time I did it. And I actually moved up a couple brackets over people that do this a lot. Not because I was great, just because I was having a little luck and I was keeping my head on me. But of course, at a point, I lost my head. It is what it is. Still a lot of fun. Yeah, I moved up 2 ladders. So it was cool. We're going to have a good time with it. You know, embrace it for what it is. And if you don't have a racing rig, that's fine. You don't need a racing rig. You can race with your freestyle quad. We'll make some recommendations, but even then, you do what you're comfortable with doing and you just do you. The rest is, as they say, history. So, getting my stuff together, I'm going to try to get everything into 2 bags. And I think I'm not going to bring my standard backpack because usually I take this thing with me everywhere. Kind of my lifeline. And I'm mulling over checking a small carry-on, but checking it full of clothes and stuff, and then bringing my low pro full of quad gear because I just can't see not having my low pro with me for the stuff we're going to be doing. So I get all that stuff together, and that way in the morning, all I have to do is wake up, grab a quick bite to eat, throw my stuff in the truck, and head to the airport. Yeah. I don't know if you guys are hearing me okay. I don't think I have anybody watching anymore. I don't blame it. I'll say this for the YouTube stuff. I have 309, I think, last time I checked, but 300 honest to goodness subs. Okay, cool. Thanks, Adam. I don't do those sub for sub things. I'm just kind of doing me and putting stuff out there and kind of letting people find me. So, and you know, for not being an icky or not being somebody a little more known and not being somebody that's, you know, putting that really, one, putting stuff out all the time, and 2, putting stuff out that is of that quality, I think I'm doing just fine. But it's been a while since I did anything live. And last time I was doing anything live, I was doing it on Facebook. And then I noticed just in the last couple months this live thing popping up on YouTube. And I don't know if that's because I had to hit a certain threshold or what was going on. So then I thought I'd give this a shot. While I keep saying I'm packing, but I'm not because I'm being super distracted by this camera here. But I don't have that much to pack. Oh, yeah, the camera doesn't bother me one bit. I spend my whole life in front of people talking, telling them what to do, telling them my opinion, telling them, I just tell people everything. That's what I do. That's what my job is. And not like in a bossy way. Like I will walk in and be like, tell me how you do this. And then they'll be like, oh, well, so we do this and we do this and we do this. And I'll say, oh, well, that sucks because you're doing it wrong. We're going to do it my way now. And that's what I do. Yeah, I don't have too much to do. I don't think I'm going to worry too much about bringing the full toolkit because I know that guys down there are going to have tools. I'm going to have my standard stuff, but I don't think I need anything over the top. I don't know. But of everything, the clothes are the least of my worries. I'm packing shorts and t-shirts and flippity dops. Don't be surprised you see me doing a lot of stuff in bare feet because I love being in bare feet. I know. I'm an idiot. Believe it or not, it's why my wife loves me. That and she just doesn't know what's good for her. Not at all. pack that stuff too. Tell you what, let's stick this stuff here. Bag full of crap that I usually travel with. Oh boy. Extra batteries. You know, to somebody who doesn't have it, 17 batteries sounds like a lot. When you're running around for the day, 17 batteries is not a lot. I could always use more batteries. But this is the pouch I'm going to put random crap in. I tell you what, that's what I'll put. I'll put these in here. And 9 is decent. I was running around with 9 for a while, but if I think 17 isn't much, I was actually hurting when I had 9. Because I don't know about you, but I'm going to even speak new spot. And I'm going to speak new spots because I spend a lot of time at new spots, right? When I'm at a new spot, the first thing I do, just throw my backpack on and I walk around. I'm looking to see if there's any common footpaths, meaning if I see people constantly walking in the same places. I'm looking to see if I see people at all. I'm checking out the obstacles, the trees, the general layout of the land. I'm checking all of it, power lines, just to see what the area is like, right? But what I do next is I'll pick a spot that I think is kind of central to all the cool stuff, and I will spend 2 or 3 batteries just kind of putzing around. So right there, I'm 2 or 3 batteries down, just getting familiar with the area, kind of burning it into my memory. And then I'll start flying. Yeah. But so those first couple batteries, man, those are my practice packs, so to speak. Those are just getting my thumbs moving and working out, you know, the nervousness, or because sometimes, I don't know about you, I still get kind of nervous when I first fire things up, especially in a new spot. I'm going to bring all my antennas. All my antennas. Look, I still got new antennas in packaging. This, like flight controllers and ESCs and everything else, I just got stuff everywhere, which is good. But I had to tell myself to stop because I was just collecting stuff. No bueno. Got some Vaz Minions. Oh, yeah. Got some Axes. Got some Hoots. Got run-of-the-mill Pagodas. Dude, that's awesome. Are you running any of the springs? Nice. You know, something that just the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah, okay. Just in the last 2 or 3 years, I've gotten to where I don't adopt new technology right away. Like, I used to get a lot of enjoyment out of getting the new stuff fast and being the first guy to the table with it. But, you know, there's a lot of time and money wasted in doing that. And I don't get much pleasure out of being first to the plate much anymore. So I like to wait and still see if things get some traction. They don't have to necessarily be reliable and commonplace yet, but they can't be bleeding edge. I've seen too many people pop out there with something cool and then disappear, and there you are with this stuff that now you can't do much with. So we'll see. Time may change that. As I wrap my head around some of this other stuff, I might get some sprints of trying to be up on the new stuff and having a little fun with it, but I can't see it being commonplace because this stuff's just too expensive for that for me. I'm not making minimum wage, but I'm not willing to just throw all my money down into the trash bin. I did too, and I was following them for a while. I was also having a little bit of dialogue with some of those guys, and I like some of what they're saying, but I wonder how they're going to carry it out and how long it's going to take them to carry it out. They're talking a big game about changing the motion controller and all that other stuff, but that's some big talk. I mean, it takes a good programmer to do that. So I would like to see them do it. Auto tune. Oh yeah, I know. With all the dynamic filters and stuff, it's nuts. But on my newest freestyle quad, what is this Odin? The hell are you doing? I don't know what's happening. Anyway, with this newest one, I just put Butterflight on it. So I'm going to see what that's all about. And we'll go from there. I don't know what's happening. Put some stuff together here. Because I was working on this one, I don't have it necessarily all together. So we'll go ahead and put this together for travel's sake. Make sure I got everything in there. I do. This one, the video is so dirty on it. So dirty, it's not even right. And I got it soldered right to the main power leads, but she's not liking something. And she's a high volt. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't a high volt. Yeah, there's some of that. But, I don't think manual tuning will ever go completely away. And I could be wrong about that. But I say that because it gives you that little bit of control over the way all of your axes kind of react, especially with the P's, right? Even the D's, you're doing that just to smooth stuff out. D's and I's, I could actually see becoming more dynamic and kind of auto-tuning, but I can't see P's going that route. Not entirely. All tunes matter, bro. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'll tell you what I think is going to be a little bit of a hang up on that too. Well, to a degree. Actually, it has the ROM to be able to save the settings. It's just they're going to, depending on how auto they go and then what options they give you to kind of decide what maybe you like or don't like or what you want to push in one direction, they've got to have a good interface for that. And maybe I'm overthinking it a little bit, but in my head, that's just... Sure, of course it is. Of course it is. And, I don't know about you, Chris, but I don't go back 3 years. I just started doing this, 14 months ago. And already all the changes, when I speak to some of the new people, I feel like, I go way back. But some of these guys were on the real bleeding edge of this stuff, really burning the way. And they understand so much of how it all works because of that. Okay, you too. It's just amazing. And you look at where the technology has gone just since we started and then knowing where it's going. This is exciting. And it has implications far outside of the hobby. For anybody just getting here who may not have already been on, this is not a live build, so don't get all excited. I'm just kind of getting some stuff together just in case anybody's new here that gives a poop. The FPV Noob Tube is having a meetup and a gathering down in Fort Worth this weekend, and I am heading down for a little bit of competition and hanging out and chilling and flying and everything else. And so I'm getting my stuff together, taking 4 quads with me for sure, maybe a 5th in parts, and just getting my stuff together and getting my bags packed for the trip. So doing a little bit of live streaming while I'm doing it. I got more props than any person needs, and I'm probably going to bring every last set. Because why not? Good. That one will be fine. Put a cap on here. Nope, that cap is too small. Cap on here. There we go. Put a cap on there. You know, that happens to me in the live streams too. I'll tell you what, let's check something. Let's check something. We'll see. I don't know if that hey, what's going on, Chase? I don't know if that is going to help your talking predicament any, because I don't know just how picky YouTube gets with it. But we'll see. What's going on, big guy? I don't know. Did you catch my last spiel about what's going on here? Let it go straight to your head. Power. Maybe I will bring some other of this stuff too. Tuck those in there. Going on, Mike? Got the night train in the house. Everybody want to come watch me pack my panties in my bag. Just kind of packing up the low pro here. Got a load of last minute clothes from the trip because I always wear shorts going out and coming back because I'm like that. Uh-oh. I can't wait, especially if you're serious. A little bit of pink hair to go with the tutu. That'd be too much fun. That's awesome. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that, Cam. Thanks for stopping in, bud. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm sure you already know. Lots of good people. You know, the people I've met are people of good character, and the people that I'm going to continue meeting seem to be of the same caliber, and I like to surround myself with those kinds of people, you know? Good people. What it's all about. Chasing no ball. What do you think? I might bring some double-sided tape too. Can't hurt, right? So I am not going to worry about charging batteries because we'll get them charged after we get down there. But I got to get this stuff in here in a way that makes sense. I might do a little bit of repair on my goggles too. My buttons popped out and I can hear stuff rattling around inside there. And since they're box goggles, they're easy to open. And I'll be honest, last time I took them apart to put the DVR in, I didn't exactly get every piece back in. So it's a good reason for me just to try to get them right. Because I'm that guy that's like, oh, fuck it, I don't want to take it back apart. I forgot about that sitting there in my stack of shit. Yeah, terrible. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about. Usually with these caps, here's my deal with caps, right? Caps are my indicator as to whether my battery has been used or not. Yeah. Anyway, caps are my indicator. After I charge, I put a cap on. I throw it in my bag. In my bag, I have 17 batteries. So I only have one spot dedicated to batteries. That's where both new batteries or unused batteries go and where used batteries go. Any batteries that don't have a cap on them have been used. Any batteries that do have a cap are fresh batteries, and that is my system. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cap everything anyway so that I have caps, and I will just use my battery checker to figure out what batteries are charged and what batteries need charging, and then that way I can just get everything in here and not become OCD and start worrying about everything being just right, because that's how I kind of roll. Cannot help it. I think that's why I did so good when I was in the tech. Well, and I still am, but in a different way. But that's why I did so good as a software engineer, because I'm a little bit picky. And then I'll be bringing my little charger. I'm not going to bring my full size. We'll have enough chargers down there. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to bring this just in case. And it runs off one of these really crummy DC power plants. Yeah, so let me show you something. All right. So there are actually two different kinds of caps. Now, as much as I love Brain 3D, I got these caps at Brain 3D. And these caps are utter crap. They slip off of a connector super, super easy. I mean, they just pop right off, right? But there are these caps. Now, these are not XT60 specific caps. They don't come from Brain 3D. They are not 3D printed. You know what these are? These are pipe covers or pole ends. They're just little rubber, almost like made out of that rubber dip material. These things, when they go on, they don't come off unless you pull them off. I got a whole bag of these. I want to say 20 of them for the cost of like 5 of these. That is where it's at. That's right. Hardware store, baby. These caps are the money. In fact, as I'm saying that, I have that whole bag up here. I don't know why I'm even bothering to put those green caps on. I should just use these. Because I'm so smart. Good idea. So yeah, getting all my stuff together to head down to Fort Worth for the next 4 days of ripping with the FPV Noob Tube guys. And I think we're going to have some other people showing up too that are affiliated in some way with the FPV Noob Tube, but may not be part of our, I don't think some people realize we kind of have this core group going on, but, you know, we definitely need to work on growing that a little bit, don't we? Just because. But I think what would be neat is if we started getting more of these meetups, you know? Fort Worth has a good bunch of you guys all together. Sorry, my cat's making weird noises. He does that. Fort Worth has a big block of you guys, but you know, the more I travel, I'm learning that there are people, and there are people out there who are pilots who are looking for other people, and they just don't know how to find them. That's what we have to figure out, how to get across that we're here. And, you know, some of these guys, they watch the YouTubers, right? And I'm talking about the big guys, not us who have these stupid channels. They watch the Dribs and the Steels and the Wild Willies, right? And they start to get this idea like they really suck. And, you know, they don't want to go out and fly with other people because they might suck too much and they're self-conscious. It's like watching porno, right? You think you're going to have some giant masterful dong, or if you don't, that you're just not up to par. And it's not like that. So we need to get that word out there. You guys up in Michigan are getting a good group going too, yeah. Up in the Midland, Saginaw area, huh? How far is Saginaw from Midland? Isn't that about 45 minutes out? Oh, it's that close. Never mind. So that's not too big a deal then. Officially. Well, that's miles, maybe not time. But you guys aren't too close to anything too big. Now, I say that not knowing how big Saginaw is, because I never had a reason to go to Saginaw itself. But I know that unless you get like too far... Oh, okay, they're big counties. Gotcha. So, hey, Todd, how you doing? I live in Felton, Delaware, which is just south of Dover. So anybody in the Philly area, which is bot grinder territory, or New Jersey, or anybody about there, you know, I've been working on getting a meetup locally of people just getting together and, you know, having a day of fun in the sun. Where are you at, Todd? I don't know why I didn't think of removing these stupid green caps before. They're such shit. You guys are going to fall in love with these pipe end covers or whatever the hell these things are. They're so good. Oh, is that Todd? Like Todd Ilgren? Is that who that is? Todd 2. Midland's a pretty nice area. The first time I was there. Oh, you're North Atlanta. Gotcha. You know, I get down there frequently enough. Usually at least a couple times a year, I get to the Atlanta area where I will fly into Atlanta. Now, sometimes I end up in North or South or, West Atlanta, but I'm in the general vicinity. And I'm in the habit, especially in the warm months, of posting where I'm going to be a certain week. So next time I get down there, I don't know if you are a member in the FPV Noob Tube, but make sure that, you go ahead and join that Facebook group because that's where I put a lot of that stuff. And I let people know typically every week where I'm going to be. Hey, what's going on, dude? Thanks for popping in. Just caught me kind of getting my stuff together for the trip down south with those guys. Go hang out with some jabronis. All about that brony action. Yeah, man, I'm glad you popped in. And, keep your eye on everything because for the next couple days, we're going to have, some live streams popping in, not necessarily for anything too long, but, even if it's just 2 or 3 minutes, give everyone an update, show you some stuff. Icky's an idiot. Something supportive. Oh, man. He's too big for us. He's not going to pop into our channels. We're not like Nurk or anything, even though I'm working on my Nurk beard. Icky. In all honesty, I will never grow a Nurk beard, that like long beard. Just to be honest with you, I'm not real into it. Like I had one that was getting a little long and it was getting a little fluffy, and it started getting just a little bit unkept, and I wasn't totally feeling it. So I keep mine full, but I don't like it when it gets long. And then to add more to that, my wife doesn't like it when it gets long. So if the wife ain't happy, nobody's happy. Exactly. Although I'll be honest, whenever we're talking about anything else, I've never heard her say, I don't like it long. Which is too bad for her. Who gets them? All right, here's my batteries. And then I keep 2 of these. And in fact, I think I'm going to pull the one out of my transmitter and charge it. Shave it or nothing. Yeah, I tried telling her that. Guess what didn't get shaved? Anyway. Yeah, I always keep extra batteries. So I think I'm going to pull the one out, and I think I will charge that just so I have it. And then I'll leave this one out because what I've noticed when I pack my transmitter just in my carry-on. Oh, where's it at here? You gotta have, if you're gonna do anything with these, meaning own one, you gotta have your gimbal protectors. But this thing here, if it pushes just right or there gets some pressure on it, it'll turn this thing on and she'll run the batteries right down. Pop this out of here. I'll charge this and then I'll have 2 good batteries when I show up. And I've held the X9Ds and I like them, but I don't like the way they feel in my hands as much as the X7. Someday my mind could change. I could grab one and say, ooh, I really like that and I'm ready for that. But for now, the X7 is everything I'm looking for. And I like the way it feels. It's a little bit bigger in some regards. I think what it is the gimbals are further apart, and I like that because I'm a big guy, and so everything's a little further apart on me, and it's just more comfortable in my hands. Yeah, that's cool. These, so if anybody knows Joe Stan, um, Joe was shopping for an X9D, bought one, and then he was selling this. And it already had the Hall gimbals in it, and it already has some of these other upgrades inside of it. And he was selling it for like a giveaway price. So I jumped on it because at the time all I had was my Eachine. What is it, the FSI 6 or whatever? And you know, it gets the job done, but it's not the same thing. It's a little bit smaller. The gimbals, you feel the difference in the gimbals immediately. And I'm going to tell you, I went straight to Hall gimbals on the X7, so I don't know what the stock gimbals are like, but I know that it's way different than this FSI 6. The FSI 6 doesn't quite have the range, but I'm going to tell you something that took me a while to get used to, and I don't know if you guys noticed this when you changed over or if you ever used the FSI 6 or if you used it first. FR Sky, or Frisky, as I like to call it, has a lot more latency. It has a lagginess to it that it took me a solid week or two to get used to that little bit of lag in my movements, because the FSI 6 is super responsive. It has really, really low latency, and a lot of people don't realize this, but FlySky has some of the lowest latency radios on the market, period. And they're getting ready to put out a new line of transmitters and receivers, which is supposed to reduce the latency even more. But what they're doing for these FlySkys, nobody was making good gimbals for them. So you either bought these really turd gimbals and you use those, or that's it, right? You didn't use FlySky. All of their new stuff, and they're coming out with 3 different form factors, right? All of their new stuff accepts commonplace gimbals. So like the FR Sky gimbals, you can use in the new remotes. But get this, you know what's coming in those transmitters already? The Hall gimbals. So FlySky is upping their stuff, and they're putting some really interesting stuff out on the market. You guys need to keep your eyes out, because I'm going to tell you something. If they addressed the range issues, which were only this much worse, I got some really good range with my FlySky, to be honest, and that's with the stock antenna. If they fixed their range issues and they fixed their gimbal stuff and their general quality went up, FR Sky might be losing me, especially if the latency is that low. I'm not in a huge hurry for Crossfire. If I did it, it would just be for peace of mind. So for me, that's not a huge thing, but all of their new transmitters also have an expansion port in the back, and guess what you'll be able to use? So yeah, FlySky's bringing some stuff to the game. There's going to be a lot of fanboys that won't be willing to look past the FR Sky cool guy gear, but not me. I'm going to use, especially if I'm shopping, I'm going to use whatever's best on the market. I have the Evo. It's at somebody's house right now. I loan stuff out when I'm not using it. I have the Evo, and I used it for a long time. My problem is I'm not a thumber. I moved away from thumbing when I got the X7, and there's no going back. There's so much more control with pinching. But it's a really good transmitter. It doesn't have as much range, but it wasn't intended to. It was meant for racers, so you really only need 100, 150 yards of range. But what the real game changer with that was the touch screen. It was so easy to configure. The menus were laid out really well. You didn't have all these extra switches, because I don't care what anyone says. Even this transmitter, which has less switches than the Tyrannus, you don't need these as a drone pilot. Hell, as a plane pilot, you don't need a lot of them. So, for whatever it's worth. Put my stickers in there. Gotta take the stickers. Throw that one in there. I'll get that one on the charger. Let's throw this in here too, just because. Throw this in the pack. Anybody new popping in who's interested, I'm packing up, headed down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area tomorrow. A bunch of guys with the FPV Noob Tube are going to be down there, and we are going to have 4 days of chilling and flying. That's pretty much it. What do you need? You need an arming switch. Now, if you haven't set up turtle mode yet, so part of this bad habit of mine about not being an early adopter, I'll see a new feature, and I'm like, oh, I don't need it. Just 4 or 5 weeks ago, I turned on turtle mode for the first time. Super easy to turn on. And why nobody runs it or why people still don't run it is beyond me, especially when I saw how easy it was to set up. You assign a switch to it, and then what you have to do is you have to disarm your quad, flip the turtle mode switch, arm it, and then when you hit a direction, it only fires off in the opposite direction, 2 of the props, so that your quad flips over, and then you disarm and then put it out of turtle mode and then rearm it, and then yeah, I run it on all my stuff now, but I put it off for a long time, and I don't even know why. Oh, I don't need that. Yeah, everybody needs it, and if you've put it off, stop. It's big in the trees, man. It'll get you out of a tree quick. And I might as well bring this to all kinds of crap. I don't even know what I'll need. Bro, if you don't have it hooked up when we meet soon, I will hook it up. We will hook it up while we are together. It is that easy. It is a game changer. I'm saying this as it is obviously old news now, but it is a game changer. And when I show you how to set it up the first time, you'll feel the same way. Why didn't I do this before? It's so easy. It is literally just assigning the switch, which Betaflight makes that easy now. You guys, I used to go into the receiver tab and figure out what switch I put on what auxiliary channel, because you had to use that in the modes tab to go ahead and assign your auxiliary channels. I don't know when it happened, but in Betaflight, you don't have to do that now. It's auto. And so you just move whatever input you want to be assigned to that switch, and it picks it up. Like, all this stuff is just super simple now. Yeah. Just no good reason not to. None at all. All right. We have, what are these? 20 amp ESCs. How long do you think it would take Aaron to set those on fire? Not even going there. I'm going to bring my spare motor. I already have my other spare motor. I don't have anything for those. Hey, you want to see something else? Check out this box. Yeah, they will immediately. This box is full of Wizard frame parts. Perfectly good, some brand new in bag. Top plates, bottom plates, arms, connecting plates, side plates. Dude. All right, so there is a YouTube channel called Just Icky. All right, his name is Aaron Leslie. This guy has been known to have quads spontaneously combust anywhere within a 100-yard radius of his presence. This guy has had multiple quads just ignite in flight after hitting something while he's working on them. These things just go up in flames. Nobody can explain it. I'll bring some foam. Never know when a good block of foam come in handy, right? So, Cam, you're okay as long as you don't let him fly your quad. And so to be honest, like he doesn't have quad just go up in flames per se. He has had a few catch on fire from a crash and whatnot. And I'm going to be honest, I have crashed just as much as anyone else into blacktop, trees, you name it. I've never had a quad just decide that it's time to ignite. I don't know how he can catch so much shit on fire, but he breaks quads like it's cool. Okay. The reason he breaks quads like it's cool is because he doesn't know how to say, maybe I shouldn't do that. All he can see is what's on the other side of it if he pulls something off. And I give it to him for that. There are times where I initially get the thought, and then halfway in, I have that little voice that goes, don't do it, which then screws everything up because you know what FPV is about, especially when it's pulling off a trick? It's about commitment. You have to know that you can do it, see it in your head, and you have to be committed, right? You can't change your mind halfway through because that's when stuff breaks. That's when you mess up. This guy, he has no problems with commitment. None. Yeah, I heard. I think I'm going to bring some mini cameras too. I have all kinds of crap, man. I've had people just give me, I have 3 of these Cadix micro cameras. I'm going to bring 1 or 2 of those too. But racing's a little different because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of us freestylers, you know why we freestyle? It's because we don't have a multi-GP chapter around us, or they don't have meetups on the days when we're available, right? Because I run into both of those issues because of my job and the nature of it. So what do? We go out to a park and we ram our quads into slides and swings and the ground, right? And we pretend that that's easier than hitting a PVC and fabric gate. No, it's not. Multiple times, okay? I've only been to 1 racing event, and multiple times that day, I was smacking gates. And you know what my quad would do? It would spin around and it would carry on. The biggest problem I had that day was 2 things. The sand that we were racing in, for 1, and 2, just bending props. Well, props are cheap. I will replace props all day. Bro, there is nothing to be afraid of with racing. And look, you want some fun for not much when you do hit something? The noise those gates make when you hit them. Flop, right? You hear a good hit, and they just don't do damage. If somebody breaks a quad on a gate, they earned it. And and that's funny because the rest of us will go out and ram our shit into the ground and act like it's no big deal. Oh, but we're not racers. We don't want to get involved in that. You should be. Some of the gaps we're hitting are small compared to those gates. And we don't have good lines. We can't see the obvious line. It is hidden somewhere. Yeah, you know what my style is? Suck and fail, but I own it. As is evidenced by the basketball hoop. Yeah, man, ghost branches. And I'll tell you, people think that's just a winter thing. Ghost branches are just as bad in the summer because you'll see a gap, right? You're in a tree and you're above the trees, and say you see a gap and you're going to go down through the canopy. I got this. You're halfway through the canopy, and what do you hit? A fucking branch that you couldn't see. Fucking branch. I'm going to bring these too. Branches everywhere. Man, who's been taken out by a leaf, right? Everybody. I don't care if you're just a racer, you've been taken out by a leaf. And you know what I'm talking about? The leaf didn't bend your prop. You know what the leaf did? Yeah, everybody's been taken out by a leaf. If you haven't lived yet. Exactly. Ha ha. Of course, as you season yourself, right, one of the first things that you get good at is not panicking, right? So you're like, okay, I got this. And you start by just leveling out. And then in your head, when this is new, okay, because I'm not all the way done yet. You're like, I'm just going to level out and fly. The wind will blow it off. And guess what doesn't happen? So then you get to that place where the leaf gets on your camera and you don't level out anymore. You start doing flips and barrel rolls. I'm going to shake this leaf off. That's when you know that you're comfortable. Good question, Chuck. MD95 is a guy named, I want to say Eric. No, it's not Eric. It's Chris. He lives local to me. And when I say local, he lives about an hour away from me. And we met just the other day. Actually, Night Train and Mike introduced us. They're the guys that got us doing the tutus for Tatas. So they are responsible for the 12 tutu order that showed up in Fort Worth today or yesterday or whatever. Yeah. Him and a couple other guys head up the drone network. So it's not just me, but I'm in person going to be doing a little bit of networking with these guys and doing some meetups and flying and, sharing the big drone. That's awesome. We're going to have a good time with it. On a more somber note, now, Chuck, I know that you recently lost somebody close to you due to breast cancer. My aunt is a breast cancer survivor and was recently, and when I say recently, just in the last 2 or 3 weeks, re-diagnosed with breast cancer. So I'm thinking about kind of taking this to the next level. What I think I might do is kind of take Crystal's idea. But I don't want to do donations because I don't want to turn it into a competition per se. I just want to see if we can spread this thing and get people wearing tutus everywhere. So nice. That's awesome. So part of what I think that we need to be doing while we're down there prancing around in our pretty little tutus with no shirts on is putting together some segments that we can then broadcast across Roto Riot and these other channels just to see if we can get other people doing the same thing. I might even offer, because we got to keep the tutus now. So everybody gets to keep their tutu. I might even volunteer to mail my tutu to someone else with the idea that they will then mail it to someone else, that they will then mail it to someone else so that other people don't have to buy them. Bingo. And I think that would be cool. Maybe have, a little tag or something inside saying whose it's been in the past and just see what happens with it. And again, that's not a judgment. So, Chris, don't take that like I don't like what you guys are doing. I just think that take that to the next level. And the pay it forward doesn't really involve money outside of postage. And we'll see where it goes. All right, Cam. I will catch you on the flip side tomorrow. So thank you guys for the idea, Chris. I mean, I think it's awesome. We were really inspired by it. When you said that, we were automatically like, we're buying fucking tutus. We were all over it. It's an awesome idea. I was kind of thinking that, but people seem to get weird anytime there's money involved. So I don't know. Gravy Leg, what's going on, dude? How you doing? Got a big name in here. What's up with that? Man, so what you caught me doing, Gravy Leg, I'm doing a little packing because me and some of the FPV NoobTube guys are going to be meeting up down in Fort Worth. And we're going to be doing some stuff down there. I mean, we're going to be partaking in some races, and some of us aren't really racers, but we're going to do it. We're going to be hitting some mad freestyle spots that some of these guys have been holding on to. Keeping to themselves, and we're just going to hang out. We're going to eat. We're just going to be together and sharing the awesomeness, right? So you caught me kind of packing up my stuff, preparing to leave tomorrow and head down to Fort Worth for a couple days. So I'm just kind of getting my bearings. Going to take 4 quads down and I think enough parts to build a 5th, and we're just going to see where it goes. Yeah, man, we're going to have a good time with it. Obviously, there's going to be footy that comes out of it, right? That goes without being said. And then we have some other stuff too that we were just kind of talking about. Maybe you caught the tail end, but I'm not gonna spill it anymore. We're gonna make you have to watch it and see where it goes from there, right? Definitely footy, but more than anything, me and Chuck have hung out twice now. Me and Adam and Mike have hung out once. Um, gotten to meet some people in my travels since work takes me all over the place, and I'm really looking forward to both seeing you guys again and then also meeting all the guys that I haven't met yet, because this is going to set the stage for a lot of meetups to come. Because where I'm going to be pushing you guys to go from here is to set up a little bit of a travel savings, right, that you can use every year. And I'm thinking that, like, if not this year, next year we got to get to a flight fest. And we got to get to, did you see Rotor Riot starting the freestyle competitions? Guys, we got to go to a freestyle competition representing the noob tube. Like, so we got to do these things, right? And part of that is just kind of popping this cherry and getting together for the first time. It is all about the squad up. That's what I mean, man. And when it comes to the travel stuff, like, I can help you guys, show you the tricks for getting the cheaper airfares and coordinating everybody's flights to show up and making sure that, we all have a rental car, because making sure we got a big one that we can all share and that we're staying in the same hotels and we get good rates. Like, I can lead you guys through all that stuff. All we got to do is decide what we want to go do together, and then we'll just go do it. It'll be awesome. I don't know about you guys, but I am psyched for the freestyle stuff that that Rotor Riot's going to be putting together. I may not like all their characters per se, and I may not agree with everything they do. I don't think they're bad. I just think they're pushing boundaries. They're that kind of edgy bad kid group, so to speak, but not with the intent of being that. But man, you got to admit, multi GP and all the, I'm going to say, the formal racing type stuff, and even DRL, they got the racing on lockdown, but nobody has done a freestyle competition right yet. Freestyle is not PVC towers and flying through gaps in fabric. These guys are going to do a real freestyle competition, and they are going to set the bar for it. Okay. The Gravy Flick Challenge. I'm half terrified to know what that means, and then the rest really excited. So I'm game. If I can destroy my shit on a basketball hoop, I am going to do that, no problem. All right, Mike, have a good night, man. I will see you tomorrow. Sounds juicy. It does sound like a Willie-inspired trip. Where the hell did my screw go? I was dropping shit. Not like I don't have more screws. There it is. What? How many times did you do that on accident before you decided to make it a trick? Because, I've tried doing that before, but I haven't recovered it yet. My biggest problem is here and there, I do the accidental disarm. Make it a trick. Like, who does that? Because the quad goes into a tumble when you do that. Really? Check this guy out with the giant sack. Yeah, do it, man. Make sure you throw that out there, because if you're going to issue a challenge, I will accept. Or if you put it out to somebody and they challenge me, I will accept. I might even go all Chris Hendershot on you guys and accept a challenge that nobody issued to me. I'm down for it. I got that 180-degree arm, so I can arm at any angle. I'm not worried about that. You know what I'm talking about, Chris. Nobody even challenged your ass to a basketball hoop and you decided to break your shit. Just get these standoffs off of here, and this will be One of Icky's. Oh, wrong size. Try this one. Yeah, I know. It was all good, man. Look, but I was being serious. Like, you guys didn't see it because I cut that part out, but I have the raw footage. I was gearing up to go try it again because I knew that it just kind of surprised me that I even made it through. But once I did it, I could see the line now, right? So I knew how I had to line up. I was going to go for the actual backflip, but I couldn't get my quad to arm. So I was going to do it. That was without even being called out. But we'll get to it later. Now that I've done it once, I know I can do it again. And the more I do it, the better I'm going to get at it. I got this. That's because you're not breaking stuff that way. You're just breaking menial stuff. But I got you. Hey, man, to each their own, you know. I think we're kind of, like, you've heard people say that kids are a byproduct of their environment. And I think that even as pilots, we're a byproduct of our environment, meaning you guys have a big racing community down there. So, of course, that's the social aspect, and that's what's going to pull a lot of you guys together. A lot of us, we get used to flying alone, or we don't have, and this is just in the case that we do have other people around, we don't have the racing presence. So, you know, we do what we can. But I'm anxious to get some of these guys' cherries popped on it. Chris, thanks for stopping in, brother. I appreciate it. And keep your eyes peeled. And once I get back and get through work next week, we'll be lining up some time to hang out. All right? Thanks, Gravy Leg. You stupid dumbass. When I get a few more of these done, I'm going to go move my clothes to the dryer before I go to bed, and we will be ready to roll because I've just about got everything ready. You know, I think we would be hard-pressed, speaking for everybody, to find out that you can't find somebody who's been touched by cancer, let alone breast cancer. I think that's something that touches a lot of us. So I think that's an easy cause to get behind. Unfortunately, it's just all too common. Man, the longer I sit here, I keep dropping shit. The longer I sit here, the more excited I'm getting for tomorrow. That doesn't happen to me very often anymore. I think they do. I think it's just too commonplace anymore, you know? Cancer's kind of become like the new polio. And until we find a way to combat it, it's just going to be that terrible illness, that disease that you just can't get rid of. I'm sorry to hear that. You know, we have some members ourselves that have recently had losses, and some people that are going through battles themselves right now. And so I guess I'm going to spill the beans. Now, I told you I wasn't. Gravy Leg, you got to keep your eyes peeled, bro. There's 12 of us, at a minimum 12. Well, let me explain it. We're going to be doing a kind of a cancer awareness outreach called Tutus for Tatas that was started by the guy that was just in here, that MD95, whatever. One of his people started it, his wife is a breast cancer survivor, and she knows someone who's a breast cancer survivor, and they put out this challenge that you have to wear a tutu in public and wear a quad. Oh my God, wear a tutu in public and fly a quad on video and post it somewhere for other people to see. And it's just a cancer awareness thing. So there's going to be 12 of us running around in public in tutus, big fat guys with no shirts on. Well, those of us that are fat. And I think we're going to try to kick off a campaign to see how far we can spread this thing. Not inspired by us, but I think we're going to be their first big hit because they have onesies, twosies doing something here and there. Kind of in the background, they kind of have an older crowd and a crowd that's into the toys and the Phantoms and stuff. I think we're going to be the first big break into the racing quads. Yeah, we're going to hashtag it. I know personally I'm going to have stuff on my channel. We're going to make sure we get some stuff up on the FPV Noob Tube. And then you got people like Icky who if long as we get him some good footy, he doesn't have a reason not to. So yeah, man, that's what I. Who doesn't want to see Ben, period, in public in FPV gear, flying quads in tutus? Who doesn't want to see that? Yeah, and it's fun too. So, with us being together, the whole Dallas Fort Worth multi GP chapter's getting together. So there's a bunch of idiots that we can be idiots in front of. Well, Gravy Leg, hold on a second, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tutu and I'm going to mail it to someone. Okay, I'm going to pay it forward, and then they can use that in their video, and then they can take it and mail it to someone, and they can take it and mail it to someone. We're going to see how far we can get these things to travel before they either fall apart or someone just decides to gaffle it for themselves. So one of us will send you a tutu. Deal? Just like that. But like, I don't know if we should do it on the underside or the outside, because they're going to get real trashy looking after a while. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the start of it, man. This is real early. So we can really have a good time with this starting out now. And we can drive something with it. And then for people like myself, and I'm going to say all four of us that are in here right now, we can just kind of kick that off and have a good time with it. So, and that goes back to one of their guys who goes by the handle Old Droner. He's on YouTube. Like I said, he's an older guy. They're a little bit, they're not the racing crowd or the freestyle crowd, so they're an older crowd. But you can check out the channel, and I think the first video is posted of him wearing his tutu in public flying a drone. So that's actually where it started. I don't want to come off like I'm taking credit for it. Part of that idea, that the mailing of the tutus is my idea, but this guy started the tutus for tatas. Never want to take credit where credit's due. That's awesome. All right. I'm going to fix some goggles and we'll be in good shape. I did not anticipate having this thing running for an hour, but I'm having a good time chatting with you guys. The hell are you talking about? See, if I can get my laptop in here for sure, then I'm probably will only bring 2 bags, because I am not into bringing more crap than I need. But I definitely want to make sure I have enough. Probably bogart someone else's solder. Well, actually, I have some solder of my own. It's already in my bag. Yeah, they'll live. You do a lot of stuff in like Drupal or Joomla or platforms like that, or are you kind of all over the place? Yeah, okay. Dude, I was doing this so long, and it's not a toot and horn type thing. When I started doing this, content management systems didn't exist. I wrote my own. And it didn't go anywhere. Like, I wasn't making it public. I did it because I was hosting, and it gave my customers something to work with and all that. But hey, thanks for stopping in, Gravy Leg. Really appreciate it. And we'll keep you guys posted, and I'll keep my eye out. I'll have to make sure to make a bigger point to be in on the newer dead bands. Happy crashing, dude. Yeah, so I wrote, back when ASP.NET was still beta, I wrote my own CMS, because a lot of them then were geared around really developers. You couldn't really put a CMS out there that a user was going to be able to do anything with. So mine was written to be user centric. Yeah, long time. And so then WordPress got traction. Well, even became a thing, got traction. Then much, much later, Joomla and Drupal and all the .NET ones. And by that time, there wasn't any sense in sustaining what I had. But that's where I go. And I spent my whole life in object-oriented world. In fact, the first time I had to work in classic ASP, I didn't know how people did it. That is, and then I was coming behind some people that were just writing atrocious code. I am definitely an OO kind of guy. I'm into generics. I'm into interfaces. I'm into, all that multi-tiered platform stuff. Like that is, I'm a firm believer in it. Yeah, gotcha. You're in that place. I don't blame you. Oh, yeah? That's cool. Yeah, see, like Soapify, I don't even know what that is. Shopify. Okay. I was going to say, I don't even know what that is. I'm a solid 6 years removed from all that stuff. Shopify. I thought you wrote, well, you did write, but I thought Soapify was a thing. Yeah, I've noticed that, but it's a good platform. It's one that they don't have to worry about maintaining. Yeah. That's where we've gone. That's another area where it's just amazing where things went. And then for a long time, they went there really quick. And then I can't speak to now because, again, being out of the loop, but they got there really quick. And then you saw it kind of not lose traction, but there just wasn't as much new stuff to put out. So I'm sure that things are still expanding just in different ways. I was writing JavaScript that was doing partial page postbacks before it was called Ajax, That's kind of before it was a buzzword. So it takes a lot to wow me. But I've definitely seen some things. Yeah, Flash. I never fully adopted that because I just didn't think that it was going to have sustainability. For a long time, I started to question that. And then, sure enough, it died. Okay. It was good for what it did, but it wasn't transparent enough. Yeah. Honestly, HTML5 is what all these things were supposed to be. And I know that's just kind of a coined term, but you know what I'm saying. It's that methodology that really that's what these things should have been all along, but I don't think the technology was there yet. It's like all things, it has to take its route. Oops, wrong size. Ain't nothing like you got to use a screwdriver to tighten your screwdriver, And this one I'm going to put some more. I am on vacation, and everybody knows it. Where is my Loctite? This is just foul, isn't it? Love it. Oh, love it. Oh yeah, that's cool. How you doing, Panic Mode? Well, I don't know what you're into, but myself, I am into FPV, freestyle, and racing quadcopters or drones, whatever you want to call them. Oh, awesome! I'm glad, dude. Somebody showed me that, but it wasn't really well documented because I was looking because I was having a few problems even with the method myself until I did it a few times and kind of figured it out. And I figured why not just put it out there. Now, of course, I was playing the word game with the search terms and the DYS motors and Sam Gook and all that, but it works for everything. And it's so simple, and you don't need a bearing puller, you don't need a bench vise or anything. You just pop them out and pop the new ones in. So I'm glad that helped, dude. Yeah. The only thing with those DYS motors, because I'm running some shoes here and I have some ways somewhere on another quad. And the only thing is that the bearings are utter crap. And I took a shot and bought some cheap bearings as replacements, and they're holding up better, but I can hear them starting to go too. So they lack bearings. But I'm going to tell you, for the price, I would be hard pressed to see people complain about them. Now, the biggest thing that I saw someone had, for lack of a better, this is not a DYS motor, but the outside of the bell started separating from the top of the bell on one of mine after a few crashes. Well, I just took a vise and just squeezed it back together. Good to go. I haven't had any problem with it popping off again. So, yeah, well, and that's the thing. So, I'm going to tell you what I found with those DYS motors, and I haven't really documented it for everybody yet. So, the bearings are crap. The magnets themselves are weaker than the magnets in good motors, which means that you're not going to have as much power. But again, you got to remember, you're spending $10 per motor, right? So when you're spending that little, you can't expect the best things in return for it, right? But if you don't have a ton of money and you want to get your quad squad up and get more than one running, you're not going to do bad by getting a couple sets of those and just getting yourself in the air. Because as we all are aware, it's stick time that makes us better. It and you don't have to be running top of the line to be getting stick time. So for me, what it was at the time, I had always run 2205 everything, right? So these are my first 2306 motors. And then with the Ways, they're my first 2207s. Well, once I realized that I prefer the throttle curve of the 2207 better, which don't get me wrong, 2306s aren't bad, but I like the throttle curve better. I can feel the difference. I didn't want to be investing $80 or $90 in motors to find out I didn't like something, because then if you want to get rid of them and sell them, people want you to give them away for nothing. That's just not me. So instead, I bought cheap stuff that I didn't care if I broke or wore out or beat to death. And come to find out, I've been pleasantly surprised that mine have held up really, really well. So, yeah, very cool. But hey, check this out. So you called me. I don't know if you are on the FPV Noob Tube Facebook group. We have a Facebook channel. Oh my God. We have a YouTube channel and a Facebook group. And a bunch of us are headed down to Fort Worth for the weekend. We're having a long weekend. We're all going to get together and race and fly some freestyle spots and spend a bunch of time together hanging out. We're just going to like squad up in an epic way, right? So we're going to be having, at least myself for sure, I'm going to be putting together some small live streams, just kind of throwing some updates out there, and we're going to be gathering footage to put together into some cool videos. But you caught me packing and preparing for that. It's kind of getting all my stuff together in one spot. I spent the whole day at work and then traveled home in just enough time to catch another plane tomorrow and go meet up with those jabronis. So that's what's going on right now. I just about got everything packed up that I want to take. And hey, where do you, just out of curiosity, bro? It is a noob crew party. Panic Mode, where do you live? You don't have to be super specific, but like what area? Always a good thing to ask. Take some straps. Never have enough straps. You know, I'm still running. I still have Drone Logic straps. Oh, okay. Well, if I'm ever down that way, I travel for work, bro. So I'm always somewhere new every week. If I run down that way, I'll reach out to you. Oh, that's awesome. So when you say driving distance, you mean like 80 miles or do you mean like 20 miles? Yeah, man, I'm still sporting them. They hold up really good. Oh, 30 minutes? That's nothing. That's awesome. Do they have a nice like walk-in store or are they kind of strictly a mail order place? Or do they do pickups like Paraflip? At least you can go in there and harass some people, right? I need to bring some Noob Crew stuff too. Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, the ability to walk into a store has kind of gone away, it seems. And it makes sense. But, you know, there's something that's kind of cool about being able to walk into a store and finger fuck something, you know? But I understand it. You know, keep an overhead down. These guys don't have a walk-in store. They don't have the staff for that. They're busy filling mail orders. And to be honest, if I had a money tree like that, that's what I'd be shaking. Well, you can't complain about that at all. That's not even worth the 30-minute drive. Yeah, we'll go with that. Anybody else have huge box full of straps like I do? Straps for days. All right. Well, you know, so a few times, like for instance, here, I'm going to throw something out there. Again, not sure if you're into the noob tube stuff at all, but just Icky Leslie had some FPV noob tube straps made. So I put it in order and got, you know, a dozen of these. And then we had a shop for a while that was the Drone Logic. And I bought, you know, a dozen of his straps. So not only was I getting the free ones, but I've even purchased straps here and there. So I've just got a box full. Bro. Okay. So you're here in YouTube. If you do a search for the FPV noob tube, just all together, FPV noob tube. In fact, I'm even going to throw that down here. FPV noob, whoops, tube. We have a YouTube channel, but we have a really kicking Facebook group going on by the same name. It's the FPV noob tube. Go on over, join the group, become a member. We're always in there kind of hanging out, chatting, sharing stuff, helping each other solve problems. I mean, I'm sure you hear a lot of this in a lot of the different groups, but we don't deal with that Rotor Riot crap. We don't have drama there. So it's a really good group of people. And even of the group, we have a real good core membership going on. And these are a bunch of guys. There's a few of them here in this live chat while I'm streaming. About a dozen of us, 13, somewhere in there, are all headed down to Fort Worth to squat up and just have a long weekend of awesome. So we'll be doing stuff like that in the future. We're talking about attending some flight fests and attending some different maybe freestyle competitions. There's no reason not to maybe try doing some regional MGP. Oh my God. Drone races and whatnot. So just keep your eye out. What's up, QDL Flight? Nice. Nice. Well, thanks for popping on over. We're just yeah, awesome. We're just in here hanging out, kind of sharing some of that stuff, talking about our plans to go down to Texas and be jabronis together and some of the shenanigans we're going to get into. And I think all of us are getting really pumped right now and kind of excited because some of us are going to meet for the first time tomorrow and others of us are going to meet for the umpteenth time per se. Okay. All right. We'll get that taken care of. In fact, I see Chuck. Chuck's going to go ahead and take care of you. Awesome. Yeah, good group of people. Always looking to keep up, growing that good group of people, right? Yeah, man. So this is kind of last year they did a smaller one per se, right? It was really just a couple people. Um, but last year they had just started the FPV Nuke Tube around that time. This year, Icky and a handful of us have really worked on growing the community, and so now you're in have worked on really growing that community. And so now there's a bigger group of us that are going to go meet. And maybe at some point we will open this up some more and make it a little more public. To be honest, we weren't really planning on putting it out there like we have, but I know that Ben has put it out there, Chuck's put it out there, so I don't hesitate to throw out there what we're doing. And maybe it'll turn into a bigger event of at least the core people. So yeah, that's what's going on. So you guys are going to get to see some of the shenanigans we're going to be getting into with the locals down there and some of the stuff we're going to be doing, and we'll see where it goes from there. A lot of us in here are into the multi-GP racing and or into freestyling, and so we're into the racing quads and stuff like that. Not that we don't have phantoms and things like that, but we're into that really the more unstable stuff. Goes with the mental state. Now, boy, this live's going over so well, really. I might have to do some more of these. I really wanted to start doing them last year and just got caught up in everything that was going on at home. Yeah, that's the way a lot of us feel. But, some of us are going to be racing for the first time, and myself, second time. And we're still going to have a good time with it. If you haven't tried it, let me see, ODL Flight. Are you local to Delaware, Maryland? We do have stickers. I know Icky's got some floating around somewhere. I tell you what, I think Icky's got them in his store. I think he's still running the website. If you put a post over there, he will link you to his store, and I think he sells them by bundles of 4 for like $5 or $6 or something. And I'll be honest, this is not me just saying this. I have one. Oh, okay. I have one that I've put on one of my quads, and it has not broken. It has not shredded. It has not. So it's held up really well. They're a good quality. I'm not going to say they're the best because, to be quite honest, there are better quality straps out there, but these are definitely not bad. Very cool. It's funny you say that, Panic Mode, because earlier we were actually talking about the difference between freestyle and racing, and I think a lot of people are under the misconception that racing is more apt to break your drone, and believe it or not, freestyle will break your quad a lot faster than racing will. And it's fun. I mean, if you were going to do it alone and just run around gates, not a lot of people are the type of people that will find that fun. But in a group setting, it is so much fun. And when you hit a gate, bro, it's all fabric and PVC. Your quad bounces. It makes that whine, zzz, and it spins around, and you just keep on flying. But freestyle, man, you want to tear up a quad, you go fly freestyle. And I don't just mean flying through a field. You fly the way we do, through gaps and trees and flipping and flopping and just doing stuff, you'll break your quad quick. So racing is nothing to be afraid of. Nothing. All right, let me get this hardware into a baggie and quit flapping my jaw. I'm so easily distracted right now because I'm excited. I'm tired. I'm just all these things. Yeah, you know what we're talking about. You hit 3 trees. I'm going to have to make that basketball court episode public. Chuck, I don't know if you realize or anybody else that's there. You know what? Let me go ahead and pop over and make that public right now. But Chuck, that basketball clip was shot on one battery in about 10 minutes. I was doing everything I could to thrash that quad. And it really wasn't intentional. It was just borderline nerves and everything else. Not having a good line. If I show you, if I show you the DVR from that day, you'll realize that it was hard to see the basketball hoop because of the backboard. It had a big black square on it, or like a rusty square. It was just a whole combination of things that weren't good, on top of inexperience. It was everything I could do to break that quad. But I'm going to give it to Bob Ruge's frames, man. They hold up awesome. Because I didn't have one broken arm, any broken plates, any broken anything. And I was bouncing it off metal and blacktop. Here's the frame I'm talking about. If you go to pyroflip.com, this is the Floss Flow Ride. Now, he probably has a better frame out now. He's calling it the Floss style. But he has these little skinny arms on it. And, you know, your first thought when you see this would be that these things are going to be prone to break. But the way he has everything designed, this is a really, really robust quad. So for $40 or $45, I mean, you can spend a lot more on a frame that's going to break a lot easier. This thing is legit. This is a good frame. And not good like it's good. I mean, this is a good frame. One of my motors is a little notchier than the others, and the bearings are tighter. So that's the frame I'm running. Now on this quad, I'm running DYS Way motors. I have another quad that's running DYS shoe motors from the Sam Gook series. And then this guy just got a big brother, same frame, slightly different hardware, and he's running Sumax Innovations. So both of these are 2207, 2600 kV motors. But if you want to talk budget, we can talk budget all day because I am all about the budget parts. I can give you excellent recommendations for budget, and I can also tell you items that you would be better off not going budget because I've spent so much money doing budget. Thank you. Well, you know, I had them apart last night and was hitting them with a toothbrush in the sink, so they look really nice at the moment. That will not be the case after this weekend, I promise. Yeah, that's what you've been saying. I'm going to have to check out a set. Just found out that Sumax kind of closed up shop. They're still making motors, but they're making submersible motors. So they are not making quad motors or brushless motors for quads anymore, which means they're not making innovations anymore. So no sooner did I buy a set than I can't get them anymore. Hey, Ray, what are you doing, bud? Yeah, that's borderline. I got my Sumax Innovations for like $16 or $17. But look, if you're spending less than $20, it's probably worth it. Because I'm going to tell you, unless you really don't have it, you can spend less money on motors, but you're going to a degree, get your money's worth. So as you've been able to tell with the DYS motors, they're good. But once you get like 50 to 80 packs in them, the bearings... Yeah, thanks. The bearings start to sound like they have gravel in them. Now, they're not hurting anything, and it's not going to hurt anything, but they sound like crap, and they squeak. Wee, 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 wee. They're just noisy as all get out. And you are losing some efficiency when that happens, but it's coming, boss. You just wait. But you're losing some efficiency, but there's nothing that's really going to tear anything up. What you're paying for when you spend that money on the quads, believe it or not, is bearings. And you wouldn't think that bearings cost as much as they do, but each motor is actually running 2 sets of bearings, one above the shaft and one below it, or on the top and the bottom. And good bearings can cost up to $10 a piece. So if you do that math, that's $20 right there. So if you're getting a good motor that has good strong magnets, has good bearings, has good reputation, and you're getting it for less than $20, you're actually getting a deal. Yep, those EZO bearings, man, you won't get better. I hope, and not that, again, this is not picking on them, but they've had some quality issues, and I think they're popping out more because so many people jumped on those hype trains. So you're going to see more people having problems, but they've definitely had some quality issues, and hopefully you're not subject to those, or hopefully they have at least good warranty if you do, because that's the big thing, you know. I tell you what, you stand out in the field and I will power loop your tutu. I don't think we'll do that. Where's my baggie? Where's my baggie? Where's my baggie? That's good enough. Actually, rooting through the trash for a baggie to recycle. Hey, I just put that video public of me flying through the basketball hoops. So anybody that's not familiar, head on over and watch me do some just terrible flying. Oh, I'm jealous, bro. You took the leap into 3D printing. I haven't done that yet. Don't have a printer. None of that. Kind of looks like it, but it's also seems to be the type of thing you kind of set and forget. So once you start a print, as long as you got a good start and it adhered to the base, you probably just walk away from it and let it do its thing, huh? There we go. Throw these in here. Throw that in here. This and this. So much stuff. Just want to be prepared. Oh, gotcha. So, not knowing whether you're asking me or not, I'm just going to go ahead and throw stuff out there. I ran a couple different things. So the first is China Hobby Line. Now, before I finish that statement, I'm also going to throw out there, I don't have any with labels left on them, but I also run Thunder Power Adrenalines. These are the ADCs, the older ones, okay? Now, there's some differences in these. You notice, let me put that against my shirt so you can see, they're about the same square, but notice how much smaller that Thunder Power is. And there's a lot less weight to go with that. I'm going to tell you something else. This Thunder Power sags a lot less than this does. But here's the difference. These are $30+ a piece. You can get 2 of these for $30. So we all know that stick time is really what trumps all, right? And I'm going to tell you, for $16, $18 a piece, you're not going to get a better battery than this. You're just not going to do it. China Hobby Line, you can find these at RDQ. In fact, if you just do a Google search for CN, let me see if I can get that on there. CNHL. I'll put that in chat. These are actually 1300 mAh 100C batteries, and you just aren't going to do any better. Once in a while on CNHL's website, you'll find that they're running a sale. You can get them for like $10 a piece when that's happening, but you never know if they're going to happen or when. Exactly. These I get for like $16 a piece. And for what they are great. For $16 a piece, you will not do better. They have like aluminum plates on the tops and bottoms. So they have a really good, robust design. I've banged the hell out of them. And on a few of them, I've had to put new heat shrink on. I just kind of knocked them clean out of their stock heat shrink, but I keep some big heat shrink on hand. I've chopped the balance leads off. So actually I had balance leads and I just soldered new ones on. But bro, these cells, and some of them, sometimes I run pretty hard. Not a single one puffed. And I'm getting 13 to 1400 mAh out of a 1300 mAh battery. Well, don't throw it away because you can fix that. You can actually go online. You can Google this, and you can buy 4S balance leads. And then you can cut these to the length you want, and you can solder them in place of these, or you can even splice them on the wires. There's a little trick to it. You got to make sure you only work with one wire at a time so you don't short anything, but it's not as bad or scary as it sounds. So you can fix that. Hey, no problem. Those have been my staples. And to let you know, I have 4 nice batteries, the Thunder Powers. I only have 4 of these because of the cost. I have 13 CNHL batteries. Rock them. There we go. Bro, it is all about the batteries. Now, you don't necessarily have to have 30, but you got to have enough so when you go out, I was telling one of our members this earlier. When I go out, and I fly a lot at new spots, so I'm not even going to speak about a spot that I'm comfortable with, because for a spot that I'm comfortable with, I can jump out there first battery, no problem, right? But for a new spot, I have a habit. All right. So my habit is, first I walk around. I just walk the area. I'm looking for a couple things. I'm checking out the obstacles. I'm checking out to see what the scraggle's like. I'm checking out for, all the environmental stuff. And I'm checking for people. I'm looking to see if there are people constantly walking in certain areas or if there's people at all, right? Once I do a good walk around, it generally takes me 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. I'll pick a spot that's central to like some cool stuff, right? And then I spend at least typically 2 to 3 batteries, and I'm just flying the area gentle, right? I'm feeling it out. I'm checking out what the gaps look like that I saw, because when you see them in person, it's like, oh yeah, that's a big hole. And when you see it through your camera, you're like, man, that hole's not very big. So I'm just feeling everything out. After that 3 packs, then I start flying. So I have 17 batteries. That means I have 14 left to do flying. Okay, bro, we're definitely gonna fly. Are you local to Chris, to like the Maryland, Delaware area? Because if you are, we'll meet up. I'm in Felton, Delaware. Me and MD95 and some of those people, we're going to be doing a get together soon, and we're just going to get together and have a good time. Know who's better than who. Oh, well, hold on. Where about in Ohio? Because next week I'm flying into Cleveland. Where's Convoy? Oh, never mind. I see what you're saying. So I'm actually going to Cuyahoga Falls or Peninsula. Oh, go figure. All right. Well, when I'm in the area, bud, I'll look you up and we'll fly, because I bring my quad with me when I travel. And every week I go somewhere different. It's part of my job. So it's inevitable that I'll be in the area and we'll get together. You don't want to drive to Delaware. It's not Delaware, Ohio. It's Delaware State on the East Coast. I know there's a Delaware, Ohio, because I was telling people I live in Delaware, and they thought I was saying I live down the street. In fact, in 2 weeks, no, it's next week. Yeah, I'll be in Peninsula. We'll see, man. I get around to that area a lot because there's big manufacturing sector in there, a lot of manufacturing customers to what I do, and I'm in the manufacturing industry, so it'll happen. I know. Oh, well, how far is Toledo from Cleveland? Isn't that about an hour-ish? Because here's the deal. I'm there for work. Yeah, I'm there for work, so I'm gonna fly in. It's kind of in the evening, the first night, so there won't be any flying there. And then I'm gonna go to work all day, and I'm gonna get off about 5 o'clock, and then I would have time to fly one evening, and I might, yeah. And then the next day I go to work, and then right after work I drive back into Cleveland and leave. So I'm really only available one night this time. It's kind of a short trip. Usually I'm there for a solid 2 nights, but because I'm sure you have to work too, man. I piggyback all this on work so that I don't have to pay for it myself. So I do it all after hours. And this time of year is great for that because then the sun's not super hot. And yeah, bro, I promise we'll meet up. You'll see. Ask Hoover. I've met with Chuck Hoover. I've met Plummet FPV. I've met Night Train. I do my best to let people know where I'm at, man. And we get together and we fly. Okay, I see. No worries, man. We will get together. It will happen. Even if for no other reason, some of us are going to start doing a little traveling and flying with people too. Man, we're going to be hitting events. I mean, look, you got flight tests there in Ohio, and they're buying a goddamn golf course. And I don't know about you, but I don't think there's any better environment to fly than a golf course. Oh my God. Why? I do. I'm easy. Yeah, and so Flight Fest. One of the things they're going to be doing is Flight Fest. Sorry, Flight Test is going to be doing Flight Fest. And man, I'm talking about going to a Flight Fest, and so we're going to have opportunities. We don't have to go out of our way to get together, man. It'll happen. I promise, dude. We love getting together and flying together and just hanging out. Good people in this hobby. I mean, you got some people that aren't good, I'm sure, but I'm a 400-pound, 6 foot tall man. I don't have too much to worry about, and I will stab your ass with a hex driver. So, not you personally. Yeah, that doesn't quite fit in there. It's all right. All right. Now for electronics. My box of electronics has dwindled a little. Ugh. Yeah, you'll get to see my icky sticks. We've coined a phrase here. And icky sticks are when you're nervous and your thumbs are shaking and you're not flying good and you're just banging into shit left and right. That's icky sticks. I will show mine for sure. So I've got a box here that is full of some used, some open, but mostly brand new electronics. Well, we'll work on that. We'll grow you out of those icky sticks, but oh man. You know what solves that, believe it or not? Just doing it. The more you fly with other people, it's not new anymore, and you don't worry about if they're better than you and all that other shit, and you just get used to it. Let's see, what are these? Those are those. All right, 2, 3, 4. We're going to take some new ESCs. Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is not to think about it. But, you know, it's just like anytime you meet someone new, right? You're kind of, it's just the way most of us are. You're kind of sizing that person up, right? Not like from a violent standpoint, but you're like, you're checking out their clothes, you're checking out their shoes, you're checking out their car, and you're kind of comparing yourself a little bit. And then once you meet the person, right, and you get used to them, like you don't see any of that stuff anymore. And flying with other people is just like that. And then you get to a point where you don't notice that stuff anymore, even when they're new. And we'll bring a Mach 2. Look, man, I bought some of this stuff. That's a Mach 2 VTX. I bought this when they first came out, and I've got 2 of them sitting here in packaging, just sitting here, just in case I want one. I got a problem. Bro, your shoes are fly. If I could get my feet in your shoes, they would have been my shoes. Look, original Pyro Flip FC. This is before the OSD. I got a drone drop all-in-one flight controller here. I got all kinds of stupid shit. Just not using. I'm going to bring it. We're going to make sure that Icky has, if he has one working quad, we're actually going to make sure that we get him a second working quad together tomorrow. Now, if he decides to go all Icky on both of them, then, you know, so be it. But, dude, we're trying. So I'm bringing the Icky fund. I'm bringing enough spare stuff to build a whole another new quad. See, that's what I'm thinking, Chuck. It just doesn't stand a chance. I essentially know that I'm dooming every last one of these parts to an early death, but I'm okay with that because I love this guy. And it's just sitting in my box doing nothing. So, share the wealth, right? Hey, Chuck or anybody else, do you think anybody there has micros? I have some 2-cell 450 mAh batteries that I'm just probably never going to use. These were from Nick. Like 2 of them have a little bit of puff, not much. Okay. But then there's like 2 other ones that are like brand new, no puff or anything. I think he was like abusing them. I bought that micro off of him, but there was just no help in it. Oh, you want some rum? You know what? That's a good idea. I will bring some. Look at this. Okay, I just can't help I got to show you. I have a problem. I have a whole big drawer here, right? This is brand new wiring harnesses for run cams. I have multiples. Some of these are the brackets and the flight controller things. I have extra housings. I have controllers. I mean, look, I got a 3-pack here. Run cam harnesses. I've got spare lenses. I got 2 lenses right here for the Eagles. I have so much stuff. Well, I've spent the last year building up an excess stock so that when I need something, I have it. And like, you know, I have an original Swift. I don't prefer it, so I keep it in here. But if I absolutely need a camera, I have one. But I also have a spare full-size Eagle. I'm sick. I'm okay with it. I'm sick. In fact, I need to make sure that I also bring not those, although that's not a bad idea. We need some of these. Look at all these pigtails, SMA pigtails. Some of these are for MMCX, where you can see it. There we go, against my shirt. Some of these are UFL. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. In fact, I'll bring some of these for oh, you didn't like the sparrow, huh? I have an SMA to RP SMA. No, that's all RP. I have an extension, but I do not. All the antennas and everything that I use are all. Oh, hold on. Are you talking about for your oh my God, your TBS Unify? I think I got something for you, because Drone Drop, in one of their last ones, sent out an RPSMA TBS Unify with SMA antennas, because they're a bunch of jackasses. I'll show you. And I'll show you because after much trial and error, I have found what I think is the best way to run antennas. Both. VTX antennas as well as receiver antennas. Chuck, I'm going to look. I think I do have one SMA pigtail, or sorry, RP SMA pigtail, and I'll bring it. And I'll tell you what, I'll bring you my antennas too. I mean, you may have some, but I don't fly RPSMA, so I do have some RPSMA antennas like pagodas and stuff. In worst case, it can be a backup for you. All right, so I've got that stuff. That can go here. Bring that. You think somebody there has a multimeter? I'm sure somebody there's got a multimeter. All right, to answer your question, here's how I try to run my antennas. Now, I want you to keep in mind that when I'm showing you this, my VTX antenna actually has a connector in the frame, and I bought some, what do you want to call those? Some mounting brackets for those. So I kind of like this spot because it puts an antenna on a plane that the battery's on the same plane, so it's been a lot harder for me to break one. But normally what I do is I will take my VTX antenna, let me just take this one off of here, and using some zip ties, I run it straight out the back. Okay, now from there, some people will bend them up a little bit and all that other stuff. If you're not flying distance, you don't need to worry about that. Run them straight out the back. They don't have to be perfectly centered in the frame or anything, but if you have it up like this, coming off the back, you're going to get it hung up on something and you're going to rip it apart. If you have it coming out almost anywhere else, you're going to rip it apart. If you have it coming straight out the back, it's actually protected by everything else kind of flying in line. Now, for your receiver antennas, usually I use a standoff to get similar angles. I just use zip ties. One coming straight out the back, okay, nice and flat and straight, and the other one preferably coming up at a 90-degree angle, although for the distances we fly, this is fine too. And this is to help alleviate the nulls. Okay? Icky has a really good video on this over on his channel too. His FPV channel is just Icky. And so he illustrates this really well, and he actually takes the time to show you his process of setting it up. I'm just kind of showing you the end result. But feel free to pop on over there. All right. Don't need that. Check. Do I want? In fact, we'll take this one too. And I'm going to bring that. I run reverse props. Flight characteristic wise, I can tell you that I don't really think there's a difference in the way the quad handles, but I have noticed that when you hit obstacles, that your quad tends to see when your props are spinning the normal way for beta flight, it has a tendency to kind of pull itself into the obstacle. And with reverse props, it has a tendency of pushing itself off the obstacle. It's not huge. It's just a little bit, but I run reverse props. I've run them for a long time. Right. That's versus sucking yourself into a gate. It kind of pushes you out. So much stuff. Turtle mode. Bro, it is all about the turtle mode. If you haven't turned it on, there's just no good reason not to. Do it now. All right. I think I am hoarding enough stuff to Nubapalooza with me. Like digging baggies to out of my trash can to recycle stuff into. Terrible, terrible. I don't need that. Gonna bring these. Don't need that. Don't need that. Let's see what's over here. More antennas. Look, check this out. So for a long time, I swore by pagodas, right? But one of the things with pagodas is how fragile they are. So I was buying pagodas that have like a plastic shell around them. And then I was taking some of that Gorilla Glue or either insulative foam and kind of wrapping a bubble out of like, masking tape. And then I was putting additional stuff on it to help hold it together so my pagodas would hold up longer. Oh, I'll forget something, but worst case, I'll go buy it or somebody else will have it. So I'm not too concerned. Man, I got so much stuff. Battery's good. So a few months ago, I went ahead and got this for my vlogging and for shooting stuff on the bench because I've got a whole setup up here that'll hold this camera over my bench when I want to shoot a video. And one of the things I had to do early on for outside was I had to muffle the wind noise. So I put a little pube patch up here to help muffle the noise. Fucking awesome. The axes are good, and they're such a small profile that they are not real bound to getting banged up. They're really good. Did you see where Foxeer is going to get sued by Lumineer and a handful of other people for copying the Axie design? It is. It's a pube patch. It might be a little hard to see here. Let me see if I can change the light for a second. Just a little fuzz. Whoop, there we go. Just a little fuzz patch over the microphone so you don't get that wind sound. Try to have decent lighting when I'm on camera. You know, I actually have not like full-fledged studio lights, but actually I have studio lights that when I'm shooting, I turn on, and initially you'd think like, shit, that's a lot of light, but it really takes care of the shadows good, makes for some really good shots. Kind of into this stuff. I really enjoy it. I don't do as much live as I probably should, but I'm really into the shooting. I've just been so busy lately, I haven't even been doing as much of that as I like. All about them movies. Manly boobies. Like Bob from Fight Club. Now, last thing, I gotta tear these things open. All right. So we'll do that. Everything else is good to go. My milkshake brings all the cows to the yard. So a lot of you guys, I'm sure there's some of you guys out there that are running box goggles still, but the majority of you are running Fat Sharks. You know, I tried Chuck's on. I tried a few other people's. I've tried the Amways on. I just didn't like them, so I'm still running box goggles because I love them. I love that huge field of view. Some people don't like it. I'm all about it. Yeah, this guy, he got work to send him down there. It's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. I'm settled. I'm going to get the Amway Commander V2. Right now, I've been selling off some of the old stuff that if I wasn't going to donate it to Icky, I'd still be selling, but that's love for you. I was selling it off and saving that money in my PayPal for a goggle fund, which since then I have spent on tutus and other shit. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the Amway Commander V2s. I really like the feedback that the HDOs is getting. What I don't like is having to spend $500 on just goggles and having to drop another $100 on a receiver. I'll let you know after my trip. Right now, nothing. I do have an original Wizard that needs a little fix, and I'm going to fix it before I sell it. And I'm actually going to sell it as a package with goggles and stuff. And I think that might tip me pretty close. Oh, that helps. I'm missing screws? How the hell did that happen? What in the shit? Yeah, that's my thing. I was really kind of sort of, how do I say this? I was pretty much sold on the HDOs, right? The thing that was really putting me over the edge was the quality. If you watch everybody who's actually gotten to look through them, having that OLED screen, they're saying that that OLED screen is like the difference. That is the big deal, right? And nobody else is offering that right now. And so I was kind of sold. And I was just going to save it up and bite the bullet and get the HDOs. But I really don't like their model. They charge a fortune and then you still have to go buy stuff to make it work. I don't know. I'm just. Whereas if I go with Amway, I get it all built in and I get it for less. So I guess if I wanted the level of control to have my own receiver and be that specific and have that amount of control, it would be a big deal, but I don't. If I did, I would just bite the bullet and do it. That rapid fire, I'm anxious to see. There's a lot of people that are really built up about that. And I don't know because I haven't researched what the hype is. But I'm anxious to see what they bring to the table because, I'm going to tell you, you remember all the hype around the Clearviews, right? And you got a bunch of people buying that Clearview, and then they were like, this is shit. And then we found out that Clearview dropped the ball. But I saw it, but it wasn't real specific. Like he didn't get into the technology or what's supposed to make it different. So, he didn't do his Bardwell in-depth thing. Unless he did something in the last day or two that I missed, but. Oh man, these things were coming completely apart. What in the hell? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. He does a pretty good job at really tearing into it and telling you what makes it different. Like the Clearview. I didn't realize that for a while, all it was doing was taking multiple feeds and compositing them together to get the best of all worlds. And so I'm anxious to see what it is that makes these different, That's not something anybody's been able to put out there yet. Oh yeah, that actually broke. That's good. That's real nice. Real nice. I will. I'll keep you posted. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And he wasn't like super stoked about the Clearview. He wasn't, he was informative, but he wasn't as excited. He was, he definitely got into tearing it down and informing us about what made it different and then analyzing what that really meant real world, in practical use. But he wasn't this excited about him. You're right. All right. So I have that. I have this. Oh, that's where that broke off of. Well, that's good. I'm packing shit in the suitcase. So QDL, what kind of quad are you flying right now? You might have posted it and I might have missed it because I'm. That's awesome. Looking forward to seeing that too. But yeah, what kind of quad are you flying? Okay. What kind of hardware in it? Because for a long time I was flying Martians, and then I was putting the SP Racing F3s in them. Basically, I was used to the Wizard and all the guts that came in the Wizard, and since I was familiar with it, I just kind of stuck with them. Oh, really? How does this go? Uh-huh. That's where that goes. but I lost some screws. Okay. You know, a lot of us are buying F4s, but right now the F4 doesn't offer much over the F3, and the F3 has certain benefits like more UARTs and inverted UARTs that the F4s don't always. They've been pretty much addressed at this point, but there's still shortfallings. The F7, I think, is going to be the next big thing that really catches on. And it's not even for the processing power because we're nowhere near utilizing the processors. It's just having all the extra UARTs because anymore, everything needs an interface. Think so? Sure, but do you say that because, hmm, because I'm not interested in the extra CPU cycles or anything like that. I'm more interested in just having more UARTs to interface with. Yeah, you want to spend some big bucks, don't you? You gonna kiss it out too? Steel motors and there it comes. All right, let's see. I don't think I have anything for that. So if I lost my screws, then I am down to taping, which is fine. But guess I don't totally need that, which is fine. This I gotta get in here. Oh, you're talking about from that perspective. Yeah, I think we're finding that out. I'm really interested to see where Helio fully goes with this because right now, part of the kicker with that is that what they're doing is proprietary. I think it's smart. Multi-processing is nothing new. I think how they're leveraging it is super innovative. But if it's not something that everybody can leverage, it's gonna lose traction. You know, because and when I say lose traction, I'm talking about kind of like race flight, right? It's not that they don't have a market, but they're not going to have as big of a market as they could. Can they? Hmm. Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, that's definitely going to be more cost effective because even if they're recycling parts, I'm not opposed to like recycling chips and things. The F3 chips are cheap and the F4 chips are cheap. I mean, you got people out there right now trying, but putting two gyros on a board with slightly different orientation and trying to use that to cancel out noise as well. And I think those are going to be the two big things to figure out which one is best, or even if they find a way to leverage both techniques. Because once we can figure out how to get clean signals out of that stuff and filter out all the garbage, that's when auto tune comes. Okay, I believe you. I lost some screws somewhere. I might be buying goggles sooner than later. Oh, that's why you kept saying Odin. I'm gonna have to look into that then. No caps. Yeah, but see, no caps doesn't mean much to me because all that's going to do is clean things up. That's an everything. Little baby screws. Huh. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to have something to read up on the plane ride tomorrow. Because between napping and watching movies, that's about 3 hours. That's interesting. Because I have yet to fly something that I don't have to screw a D to no end. And sometimes I wish I was talking about the one with my pants. Ha ha ha. Well, race standards are a little different. You guys are looking for something different. Freestyle is definitely a lot harder to tune because of the camera angles and because of the shenanigans that we're doing. It's a lot harder to get a clean flying quad. All right, we will see. It's going to be very interesting, all of us together, just to see some of this stuff. And because, you guys are going to facilitate things. You're already getting my attention for a lot of things. Facilitating knowledge transfer. Yeah, well, there's nothing in this world that really should be expected to handle a bent prop. That's just. Oh man, I got these things busted up. All right, tape it is for now. Now I know I definitely need goggles. Hmm. Well, poo. Oh, that's why those didn't hold it. Completely stripped out too. All right. All right. Busted goggles. Whole lot of trash talking going on. Still something rolling around in there. What in the hell? Who's ignoring you? I'm not. I'm just trying to get these goggles together. I can feel the sleep starting to come on, but I get these back together, I'll be in good shape. Oh, no, screw it. Another broken piece of plastic. Yeah, I'm getting there. I want to get these goggles together first. Once I get them back together, I'm pretty much ready to go. So it's coming, it's coming. So we'll go ahead and wrap up this live stream. Definitely had some good chats and activity with everybody tonight. Had some people stopping in I didn't expect, which was really cool just to say hi, and that is appreciated more than anybody knows. If anybody else sees this, because I'm going to go ahead and let it publish and be public, and that's all fine and well too. Oh, I see. You guys, I will see you tomorrow, and happy crashing.